Kathy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you're on the show. I want to talk to you about the Go-Go's for a second because even though everybody's got solo projects happening, you're still together, right? You still play out, don't you?
We do a lot more than people realize. I mean, I'm going out for about 11 days of dates in a couple of days. And we worked in May. I mean, we work about probably cumulatively in a year, maybe a total of 5 or 6 weeks a year.
Wow.
Not a bad job, huh?
What? Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, that gives you time for your family.
Yeah, and to do all the other crazy things I like to do.
Well, you've got a solo record. It's called Light Years, and for this album, you've also created your own record label.
Yeah, I did it on my own label because after I made it, I spent a couple of years doing it, mainly because I had a kid during it. And I kind of just didn't feel like going around to labels and hearing input, like,
right.
Oh, we think this and we think that. I just kind of didn't want to hear it. So I thought, I'm just going to put it out and not even hear what anybody's opinion is.
Well, you were pregnant at the time that you were making this, is that correct?
Yeah. Actually, I did some before, some during, and some after. Once I got got past the initial newborn phase, after about 6 months or 7 months, I picked things up and started again.
And you've got some great people on this with you, some great musicians like Clem Burke,
yeah,
and Gilby Clarke, and you've also got one of my boyhood idols.
Who?
Can you guess who would be?
Ace Frehley.
Ace, of course. Was Ace a fan of Girls' School? Because I know you were in that band originally.
No, it's a kind of a weird story. I had a roommate who was friends with Ace, and I had a birthday party, and my roommate, invited Ace, and he came, and we kind of hit it off, and I told him I was working on a record, and he volunteered, to play on it, and I was kind of surprised that he actually showed up and did it, about a week later, and over the next year or two, I guess Kiss started doing some dates again, and I got to go to a bunch of shows, and so we were kind of palling around for a little while.
This is relatively new for you. You had never really had anything solo out.
No, I've always been like the consummate band person. I just always really enjoy being in a band and being, finding that combination of people that's just, it's just the greatest thing in the world. But I kind of got to a point where I don't know what made me start. I think I just did something and I liked it, and I thought, oh, this is fun. Like, it doesn't sound bad. Like singing, I don't sing bad. That sounds pretty good. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't have to, get somebody else's approval. I can do any kind of song I want, any way I want. I'm the boss. I decide, and I like that a lot.
Well, the funny thing is, when I think of Kathy Valentine, I think of the Go-Go's, I think of Los Angeles, but I'm speaking to you, and you're in Texas, and you're from Texas originally. What made you decide to move back home and leave L.A.?
Well, I always, you can take the girl out of Texas, but I don't know if you can really take the Texas out of the girl. So I've always felt really at home here, always come back a lot, and have maintained friendships and relationships here. And my other bands that I've played with, we come here and play. So I liked LA though. The thing is, in LA, I really felt like I was cashing in my chips. I moved to LA when I was 18 years old. I got to be in a huge band. I got to have an amazing career that spanned a long time. I met an amazing guy. I had a kid, and it's like, what else can I do here? I just felt like I was cashing my chips, and let's go home with my winnings.
Well, you seem pretty busy. You've got the Go-Go's, of course, and now your solo record.
I'm doing a lot, but I'm not doing a lot of writing. I've been writing with people I'm finding here in Austin. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of in a phase where I'm into helping other artists, and I'm producing a really good band called Adrian and the Sickness, and they're a female trio, and Adrian's just an amazing guitar player. And I've met a couple of local artists here that are just really great to work with and write with. And I'm doing some gigs. I've put together a band called the Blue Bonnets, and it's all girls, and we do kind of I call it garage blues and rock and roll. And we've been playing live, and that's really fun. and then I put together a version of Kathy Valentine and the Impossible, which is the band that plays my solo stuff, and that's with like a kind of an all-star pop crew of locals here in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Scalzo from Fastball, and this guy Johnny Gowdy, and it's just really fun. There's a lot of talent here.
We're speaking to Kathy Valentine of the Go-Go's on That Modern Rock Show. So is there a place online, I already know the answer to this, but is there a place online where people can catch up with what you're doing?
They can go to a website at kathyvalentine.com, but I'm like the worst updater in the world, and I get kind of berated by fans sometimes, and I feel bad, but it's just like, I can't do everything. So my MySpace page is a little bit more current.
Let me ask you about other all-girl bands. There aren't too many, but you've got some high-profile ones like the Donnas.
I think the Donnas are really good, and I think that's still a pathetic shortage of women bands, girl bands, whatever, chick bands. I think it's pretty crazy, and in fact, I have a TV show that I was working on with Charlotte from the Go-Go's and Sue and Vicky from the Bangles, and the reality show was about getting all-girl bands and, being in a competition and blah, blah, blah. And we had a development deal with a major network, but they just kind of strung it along for 2 years. I mean, we had this idea way before Rockstar. It's just been
right.
It's just been mired in that. I mean, you think the music business is bad. The TV world is just crazy. And our idea, which is so good and so strong, and everyone that hears it loves it, has just been mired in this kind of world of TV. And anyway, we're now going to other networks because ultimately we ended up severing that relationship.
That's strange that there would be hurdles there, because you described the concept, and I'm thinking, who wouldn't watch that?
I know. That's what everyone says. It's an amazing idea, and it's an amazing show, and we have great producers attached. We have a guy from America's Next Top Model is one of our producers, and a close friend and great film producer in L.A. who's working on it too. So we've got, and two Bangles and two. The idea is it's like, people from the two biggest girl bands that have existed work together to mentor and help other girl bands. I just want to see more females have the kind of career I've had. I really want to see that, and that's what I'm looking to help. I'm looking for in any way I can, just to kind of nudge and help get some more girls out there in the musical landscape. It's pretty empty.
Yeah. Well, listen, Kathy, it's been great talking to you. The new CD is great. It's called Light Years, and we're going to play Bad Choice in just a moment with my boyhood idol taking the lead solo here. Very interesting.
I'm glad you're playing that, because that's one of my favorite songs, but a lot of people, they don't ever pick that one, so that's cool. I like the lyrics. It tackles a really difficult concept, and because when I was writing my record, it was like, okay, I'm pretty happy. I'm married and I'm having a kid, and so I had to kind of cover material, think of songs to write. And Bad Choice is just, it's kind of, I'm very interested in the idea of like, how you make a choice in any given situation, and then this kind of series of repercussions just kind of go, kind of reverberate after you've made that choice. And so that's what the song is about, and it's not an easy thing to write about, and I was really proud of the lyrics on that.
Well, it's a good
way.
way.
Check them out.
We will. Thanks, Kathy, for being on the show, and next time you're in the area, next time you're in the tri-state area, you got to come up on the show and be with us live, okay?
Great.